It's Europa League week. Ferencvaros are back, and this time we play on RB Salzburg from Austria. Let's get into the predicted lineups and score prediction. So right around here is going to be the predicted 11 for me, at least, against Salzburg. And it's something out of the ordinary, pretty basic, honestly. Now, in goal, I've predicted David Grove. Now, this is an interesting one because, obviously, against Újpest, he picked up the red card for pushing the ball kid and possibly facing a suspension from 6 days to maybe even a week. So we don't even know what the league's going to decide for that, but I do think he's going to still have the start. Due to that, if not, maybe Seichi can come in, but I do think Grove is going to be handed the start here. And next up in the defense, we got Gartenman, Sully, Raymakers, and Makrakis. Now, this is, again, an interesting one because, for instance, you wouldn't exactly expect to see someone maybe like Gartenman start because, honestly, I don't think he was incredible against Újpest. I don't think he really showed much in the derby last time, but I do think he's going to have the start here over Cisse because I think Cisse's a bit unreliable at times. I think he makes a bit mistakes, and not to say Gartman doesn't. I mean, he makes a lot of mistakes. I mean, a lot. But I think on Europa League nights, he's particularly better than I feel like he is in the league, and that's a weird way of putting it, but yeah, I think so. So I do think he's going to be handed the start. Sully, Raymaker is pretty obvious. Makrakis, I think, should stay the same. He's excellent on the wings there at the left back and such, so yeah. Next up, we got the midfield, Kanikovsky, Keita, Levy, and Kadu. Now, this, again, the Ferencvaros has a lot of great midfielders, and I didn't really know how to put this. I don't know if they're going to play four in the midfield or not. That's just kind of what I think, but, I mean, let's be real here. Levy, I think, is almost 100% going to be handed the start here. He has been excellent for us, even giving the assist against Újpest in the derby a couple days ago. So, yeah. Keita, I mean, you know, he's not exactly been our best performer. It's a weird way to put it. He's not been our best performer, but I do think he's going to be handed the start, and I think it's mainly because he is getting better. Again, I don't think we've seen much from Keita. I mean, he could definitely do better, but I think Robbie Keane's just trying to really test him out a little bit and see which position maybe he finds himself more comfortable in. And I have no idea what they're doing in the training ground, but I do think Keita is going to be handed the start. Now, Kanikovsky is an interesting one because there are other options I could put in for him. For example, we have Zacharias, and I could put him in, but I don't think he's going to be handed the start. He hasn't really been handed the start in a while for Ferencvaros, so Kanikovsky, do feel like this is not exactly his most natural position, but I do think he's going to be handed the start, if not even in that position. Now, Kadu, he's played the Europa League games, and although, again, he hasn't been the best, I feel like his ability to kind of cut inside on the wings when he gets there, put the ball into Varga or Joseph, and I think that is going to be the one to carry him through with the start. Now, Varga and Joseph, I mean, Varga, let's be real here, if you have even watched a single game of Ferencvaros, you will know how good this man is up front. And he scores 90% of his goals with his head. Like, his head is a lethal-ass weapon. And it's going to be interesting to see about Joseph, because, again, Varga's 100% going to be handed the start. Joseph, Lenny Joseph, this is an interesting one. I'm still thinking about it as I'm talking. Because, I mean, you have other options like maybe Besic, Gruber, but, I mean, again, Besic is getting older. He's probably more of a bench player at this point in his career, even though he has come on and scored a couple goals for us. Gruber, he's getting to the stage where I feel like he can't start. He could definitely start, but I just feel like Joseph is going to have a better showing than Gruber, and I think that's what Robbie Keane thinks as well, because he almost always comes off the bench in the bigger games here. So, yeah, I think that's about maybe 4-4-2 is what we're going to line up with here. And, yeah, we'll see what we can do. Up next is Salzburg's predicted 11. And I'm going to be honest, I have no clue about Salzburg. I did not do a whole lot of research on this. But this was one of the most recent starts in a league fixture against, I cannot remember the name for the life of me. Not a whole lot of players I know from the starting 11 off of the name. I mean, probably Schlager, Diabate, might be some, maybe... I don't know, maybe Lehner I might have heard of a bit, but overall I do feel like it's a beatable. I mean, I think they're personally going to line up with the 4-3-3 as they do most of the time. And I think their midfield is pretty vulnerable. I'm going to be honest here. If our four-man midfield can maybe try and tear through it, create some space in there, and I'm almost certain they're probably going to have a DM at some point in the game. Probably going to push in, maybe Rasmussen, maybe Godwin's going to push in for the DM spot. And then maybe someone like, I don't know, Beidou maybe. He might be able to come in and help with the midfield a little bit. But overall, I think we can break down the Salzburg field, and I think we're going to have over 60% possession in the game as a whole. Yeah, I don't feel like there's much else to be said. On to the recent form. Now, if we look at Salzburg's recent form, it is a loss, win, draw. So, last 6 games. And I don't know how to feel about it, man, honestly, because Salzburg, they have had a bit tougher games under their schedule, but I don't think they're necessarily a consistent team. And I do think that Salzburg, again, defense, midfield, pretty vulnerable, and I don't think they're crazy good while scoring up front. I feel like they don't really take their chances well, can't really create chances that well. Now, if we look at Ferencvaros, it is a draw, win, draw. So quite a lot of draws in there, 6 games, 4 draws. And it's an interesting one because, again, you had the draw against Victoria Plzen in the Europa League and then the win away from home at Genk, 1-0. And I think this Ferencvaros team has proved themselves that they can indeed score goals, they can beat big teams, they can put up a fight. And I think, yeah, I do think that although it's not exactly the best of forms, without a loss in 6 games, I think is pretty good. So, yeah, again, think we're going to be handed the win here. Now, of course, I do know we are playing in Austria at the Red Bull Arena. But, I mean, again, I just don't think it's going to be, I just don't think it's going to make much difference at this point because, well, I mean, Salzburg, I'm not saying we're necessarily a consistent team either. I mean, we've been known to have the highs and lows, like, almost every single week it's high and low and the high and the low, but Salzburg, I feel like, just particularly aren't a great team. I mean, I'm not saying they're not a great team. That's kind of what I'm saying. But I think that this team is very beatable for a team like ours. And I think, if not a win, I think a draw is going to be put on. But let me give you my score prediction for this game. I am going to go with a 2-1 win for Ferencvaros against RB Salzburg. And I know, it might be a little bit out there, but I personally think we can pull this off. So as always, let me know your thoughts, and yeah, we'll see you for the match.